Hey Bulldogs, let's see what's happening this week in Code Blue News. Joe tells us how the NFL is adapting to the pandemic. Brian has an update on the state of the Holbrook Hub in Code Blue News, and Chuck ends the show with yet another Review 60. Now please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag in the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. Hey Bulldogs, welcome to Code Blue News Season 3. I'm Matthew Messina here with Angela Rossi, 6 feet apart.
Attention all seniors. If you have not had your senior portrait taken by Prestige Portraits, the final date to have them taken is this Monday, December 7th. Please go to prestigeportraits.com and make your appointment for Monday. If you have any questions, please see Mrs. Morgan or Miss Gallagher.
Lately, the NFL has been running into multiple issues involving coronavirus. CBN reporter Joseph McLaughlin has more on the story.
It's finally December. Thanksgiving has come and gone, and now we can start preparing for Christmas. And with the month of December also comes the most important month for the NFL, as teams try to make a push for the playoffs. The NFL just wrapped up their 12th week of its season, and have already started its 13th. Despite how far the league has come, COVID-19 has still been affecting teams. Most recent COVID headlines come from the Denver Broncos and the Baltimore Ravens, as their matchups this past week took an unexpected turn. Starting with the Denver Broncos, all 4 of their potential starting quarterbacks tested positive for COVID-19, and put them in an interesting position as there was no one to start at QB against the Saints that Sunday. They ended up deciding to name practice squad wide receiver Kendall Hilton as their temporary starter against the Saints. The Broncos were blown out 31-3, but Hinton had a decent performance for an emergency starter that never played a snap in the NFL. On to the Ravens. The Ravens were ravaged by a COVID outbreak in their facility, resulting upwards towards 22 positive cases. Among those infected were 9 major starters, including Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson. This outbreak had drastic effects on the Ravens-Steelers game that was scheduled for Thanksgiving Day. The game was first moved to Sunday, then Tuesday, and was finally played this past Wednesday night in Pittsburgh. The game was a very sloppy affair as both teams weren't expecting to play at all, and they barely stitched together a roster in time. The game was close, but the Steelers ended up winning the game 19-14 and left the Ravens with a 6-5 record. Even with the reports of COVID-19 in the league is still completing games, each with their own spectacular highlights, such as DeAndre Hopkins' amazing catch over 3 Buffalo defenders back in Week 10.
To the field goal. Murray out of the pocket. 7 seconds. 6 seconds. Murray heaves it downfield. It is caught. And DeAndre Hopkins is the man who comes away with it.
But winter is coming, and we are in the middle of a surge in this pandemic. Will the NFL make it to the playoffs? Only time will tell. This has been Joseph McLaughlin for Code Blue News. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Joe. Hopefully, America will get to watch the Super Bowl this winter, despite the current pandemic.
God, I hate this stupid hat.
Well, take it off, please.
I guess.
The Social Justice Club meets on Zoom every Thursday at 3:30. Please check in with Mrs. McCann if you're interested in joining the club.
Recently, newspaper and video production have merged into one media outlet. Brianna Graziano has more on the merger.
Over the past 2 years, CBN has been slowly working on combining with the Holbrook Hub. Now is the time where we can finally announce that the Holbrook Hub will now officially be called Code Blue News. Instead of just revolving around the newspaper, it will be the umbrella for all sorts of Holbrook student journalism.
I think journalism is such a broad and important field, and it's really important to understand that, it's going to be that's going to take all sorts of forms. So that's one thing that, Mr. Gorman and I had been talking about a lot as we were doing our separate things, the newspaper club and video production club, and then Code Blue and the Holbrook Hub.
I feel like we should have done this a while ago, looking back, considering we both kind of do the same thing. It's just one of us does more video aspect of it and the other writing. I feel like it broadens us to do more stuff since we have more people. So hopefully we can get more articles up and stories overall. So I think it's a good change.
I think it's effective and efficient. I think is like the smartest option at this point. I feel like they can work being combined, but one might overshadow the other. So, but I mean, it's what we have to work with. So, you know.
I think it'll be a challenge. Like anytime you're managing a big team, it's a challenge, and especially now that you'll be combining probably people with different skill sets, different interests, different worldviews, different kind of ways of kind of approaching a problem. But that's a good thing. Like that's a good challenge to have, right? Like we want to have different perspectives and different viewpoints and different ways of working.
There's a couple of kids in there that have been there for years, like me and a couple other kids in the class, so they know what they're doing. And there's also a ton of younger kids, so hopefully once we all graduate, they can continue to do what they're doing. Because although they don't send out printed copies as much, they still do good stuff for the website. Did a couple articles here and there last year, but it wasn't really. We have a full-on team now. We have a whole setup, and plus we got the newspaper kids. So hopefully we can, people can get on there and see the hard work we've been doing.
I feel like some people just like don't care enough to like look at it, but that's what we're here for, you know, just like get the stories out, you know. If people do care, then they do. If they don't, oh well.
Journalism matters for everyone. First of all, I guess that's why I would say it matters for students. It is like so important. We have a huge need for exploring, understanding, analyzing, figuring out, celebrating, right? Things that happen in the world. And so students should absolutely be a part of that.
We believe that this new change will bring Holbrook journalism programs closer together for better media coverages for our audiences. This has been Brianna Graziano with Code Blue News. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Brianna. Over the coming weeks, you'll see some great changes to the website. As you've all heard by now, December is full of HMHS Spirit Days. Next Monday and Tuesday are Twin Days, where you can dress up with a friend, as a celebrity, or even as a teacher.
Thursday and Friday are class color days. 6th grade is yellow, 7th grade is orange, 8th grade green, 9th grade red, 10th grade purple, 11th grade white, and 12th grade black.
Attention all gamers. We all know gaming is more than crushing Mountain Dew and all-nighters. HMHS will be starting a pilot season of an esports team. The games you might possibly compete in include League of Legends, Smite, Fortnite, and Rocket League. Principal Stevenson will be emailing out a survey to see who could be interested in joining the exciting new team. Be sure to submit your answers to be considered for the first team.
Now let's turn things over to Chuck Larossi, who's here with another Review 60.
Hey everyone, I'm Chuck, and welcome back to Review 60, the segment where I review albums in 60 seconds or more. This is Currents, a record by Tame Impala. Tame Impala is like a band, but not really a band. It's a one-man band, and that one man is Kevin Parker, a multi-instrumentalist. He can play drums, bass guitars, horns maybe. I've never seen him do it. This record brings out a lot of psych pop and a psychedelic type music, but it sounds like he's sleepwalking through every single track, and I really do enjoy that. People say Tame Impala is like vaporwave, but I don't really see that. The hard bass line in The Less I Know the Better, which is a famous bass line now because of TikTok and other things like that, sounds like this. But it has a lot of different elements, like 70s soft rock, psychedelic type music, and in the mix that Kevin did, because he did mix this project as well, it sounded very poppy in the headphones because he mixed it like an R&B or hip-hop project. I really do enjoy this record, and some of my favorite tracks on this record are Eventually, The Less I Know the Better, New Person, Same Old Mistakes, Let It Happen. This is probably one of Tame Impala's best records. And it's not a perfect record because there's a lot of fillers, but at the same time, I'm going to give Currents by Tame Impala a 8.4 out of 10. No, I'm not Anthony Fantano. I'm Chuck Larossi, and you just watched Review 60.
Thanks, Chuck. That wraps up this week's show. I'm Matt Messina.
And I'm Andrew Larossi. See you next Friday.